And would you say you're a Disneyland guy or a Disney World guy?
Oh, that's an age-old debate that will never end. But I think that each one offers something very different. So I would say both. Disneyland is something that's very dense, which has its own appeal and its own charm, and it's the original park. So it's got a genuineness to it that I don't think is matched anywhere else in the world. And for those who are looking to get a full Disney experience, within a compact amount of time, I don't think there's anything better. But Disney World is, it offers something different in that Disney World it's just gigantic, and you can spend a week there easily and still not see everything. So it's really about what kind of experience you're after. But I think both are well worth doing.
Now, do the European or Asian parks serve as any inspiration, or do you see them playing a role in any of the games in the future?
I haven't gotten a chance actually to visit any of the Disney parks in other countries. Although I've seen the one in Japan from afar, but just because of my schedule, I wasn't allowed to actually go there. But I do intend to make my way very soon to more of the parks that are out there in other countries, and I would love to draw from those. I think that everywhere that we can draw from for reference and to be inspired from within all things Disney can only serve to make the game stronger.
And the new Disney movie Wreck-It Ralph is coming out soon. Do you think that'll play a role in future Mickey games?
Yeah, actually, Wreck-It Ralph is as opposed to Pixar's films. It comes from Disney Feature Animation, which is a department of Disney that we work very closely with. So all the things you'll see in this game actually were originally done from Disney Feature Animation. And Wreck-It Ralph actually belongs to that same department. It's done in the same building. And let's just say the chances of things like that happening in the future if we get to make another game are very high.
And what advice would you give someone picking up this new Epic Mickey game? Like, what would you tell them how to play, or give them advice on how to play?
Well, I think one of the best things about this game is that it's intended to be played by everyone. And by everyone, I mean, no restrictions. All ages, from, ages 2 through 100, all ages, all genders, all backgrounds. And the reason why we feel as though we've made a pretty good stab at making that accessibility pretty open is because we've really tried to start off the game in an accessible manner, with our 2D platforming gameplay, and to ramp up the game, with a proper learning curve and with proper help if you struggle, that we hope will allow players, of any background to not only pick up the game and play it and enjoy it, but to be challenged throughout, and also to feel like they've accomplished something when they actually do make it through the game.
When you're working with sprites, are there any limitations, or are there any better advantages over working with 3D models?
Yeah, I think it's a totally different animal working with 2D visuals and 2D sprites, as they're called, compared to 3D. Most of us at Dream Rift actually came from backgrounds where we had worked on huge, 100, 200 person teams on next generation 3D open world games, and it was actually a really refreshing breath of fresh air when we sat down and were first given the opportunity to make games that are more done in the style of the games that we grew up with, and the reason why we got into making games in the first place. The benefits of it are that the way in which you can frame challenges and present things to the player is much more direct. There's no room for interpretation or confusion rather, on the player's part in terms of having a 3D camera and not knowing whether your audience saw what they needed to see, or whether the challenge at hand is obvious, because 2D is more like stage as opposed to theater. It's very controlled, it's very direct, and it's basically as pure as design gets in terms of presenting gameplay challenges to players that are intuitive and understandable, but that also are genuinely challengeable, where the player feels like they have the capability to succumb an obstacle, and when they fail to, that it's actually their fault instead of something like a crazy game camera or just lack of depth perception and whatnot.
And when is Power Evolution coming out?
Power Evolution comes out on November 18th.